I guess let's start with Beck because Beck is a interesting character that has a lot of levels, and you kind of don't know where he stands from the beginning. How did you kind of see the idea of Beck, a father, a guy who's also kind of empowered too?
You nailed it. I mean, you had a lot of the answers there in your question. I was compelled by all of that. I thought that was really rich. And that was one of the things I wanted to do from Jump Street that I discussed with Nick on multiple calls. And so out of the gate, that's important to me to mix it up and also to kind of misdirect, in some cases, the other actors you're working, kind of, or even the audience. You want to keep them guessing in a way. So that to me, that leads to just being really alive and staying alive in the scene. Don't have a one fixed way of doing it, but staying open to the possibilities, making sure you're listening when the camera's rolling, and just mixing it up because I knew what that arc was going to lead to. So I think the whole relationship with Richard is really powerful, and it's also a very pained relationship, right? He's been estranged from his son. He wasn't there for him, so there's a lot of loaded, intense emotion between the two of them. And interestingly enough, during the making of our season 3 here, both Olivier and I both became parents. So, I'm now the father of a son, who's now 20 months old, and he turned a year old while making the show, which is incredible.
2 Reacher babies.
Yeah, 2 Reacher babies.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. But that was rich, man. That was all great stuff to work with, So when I looked at Johnny, who's playing my son, I knew what it felt like, to just love him without, in this case, knowing how to reach him because they're out of each other's lives. There's also another interesting dynamic because they develop a great friendship between themselves, right? Between Richard's character and Reacher. And that becomes sort of a threat to Zach as well. So all those elements, working within this criminal network of bad guys and trying to make that as real as possible, and then evolving to that other arc, which was cool.
Right. Olivia, if I can ask, usually Alan is the big guy. So I want to know, what was the conversation like about, being the bigger man in the scene with Alan and how that was supposed to work? Because even in the books, Reacher is usually the one that towers over people too. So what was that conversation like and how'd you see Paulie?
Well, first I talk about real life. I saw an interview with him and he was intimidated by me apparently because for the first time I really had to look up, which felt different for him. And I was intimidated when I saw his stunt training, like, oh yeah, that's the level of fighting I have to do in 4 months of time. And I did a lot of training to get there. So we both were intimidated by each other, but we pulled it off, and there's going to be a crazy fight, a build up in the show between the two before that is going to happen. Paulie is called the freak of nature in the book, and even called he's made in the lab. Great compliments. So, after 15 years of training in the gym, I put everything in the scenes.
All right. Well, it's definitely, he's going to be punching up for sure. And if I can ask Brian, when it comes to Quinn, he is a quiet evil, what is it like being that character, the unknown evil, especially for many of the episodes? I don't want to give anything away, but there is that darkness that he's just that shadow in the distance, what's it like being that character?
Yeah, I think he's a mystery that comes back to haunt Reacher. And what I love about Quinn is that, Reacher is those characters that, yes, he's big and brawny and muscular and tough in that context, but he's also extremely smart. And what Quinn brings is that foe, that intellectual foe that we're both playing chess and trying to outmaneuver one another. And that's what we love about this season, man. It's a multiple mysteries and multiple storylines coming all together. And, I think audiences will live vicariously through Reacher as he's trying to figure things out. And with Quinn, he's always one step ahead. So hopefully the fans will all jump in and enjoy the ride.
For sure. Well, I want to thank you all. Hope everyone in your world is happy and healthy. And we'll make sure to talk about this. Be good. Thank you all.
Thank you, man.